Did you know that everything you see, hear, and feel is already in the past? That's right, your brain is constantly lagging behind reality by about 80 milliseconds. Every word, every movement, every flashing light, you're experiencing it after it's already happened. But here's the shocking part: your mind doesn't just follow reality, it predicts it. It tricks you into thinking you're living in the present, even though your brain is a tiny fraction of a second behind everything. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how your brain secretly time travels and why you're not actually living in real time. Stick around, because what you're about to learn will change the way you see everything. While it may seem strange to think we live in the past, the story doesn't end there. Our brains are not passive observers waiting for signals to arrive, they are active predictors. Even though every sensation you experience is slightly delayed, your brain is constantly anticipating what is about to happen. It fills in gaps, smooths motion, and prepares your body to act before you even realize it. Imagine you are watching a ball thrown toward you. By the time the light reaches your eyes and your brain processes it, the ball has already moved. If your brain simply reacted to the visual information, you would always be late. But instead, your mind predicts the ball's path. It estimates where the ball will be based on its speed and direction, allowing your body to respond almost perfectly in real time. This predictive ability is why athletes can catch fast-moving objects, or why a musician can hit the right note in sync with others. This predictive processing is not limited to sports or reflexes. It applies to nearly everything we perceive. When we walk through a crowded street, our brain anticipates the movement of people around us. When we speak, our brain predicts the next word in conversation. When we listen to music, it anticipates the beat before it happens. These predictions are constantly updated based on new information, allowing us to experience the world as fluid and immediate, even though technically we are slightly behind it. Illusions provide some of the clearest examples of this predictive process. Optical illusions often trick the brain because it fills in missing information based on expectation. A moving object may appear to jump or shift because your mind is predicting its motion and trying to keep up with reality. Our brain doesn't just wait for reality to happen. It tries to stay one step ahead, creating a coherent experience that feels immediate. Even at the neurological level, this predictive ability is remarkable. Neurons in the brain communicate through electrical signals that travel at high speeds, but they still require time to move. To compensate, the brain constantly integrates sensory input with predictions based on prior experience. In essence, your perception of the present is a blend of what has happened and what your brain expects to happen next. This is why skilled performers, drivers, and athletes can act so quickly. Their brains have fine-tuned predictive models that allow split-second decisions. This predictive mechanism also explains why reaction times can feel so natural. When you touch something hot, your hand may pull back instinctively before your conscious mind registers the pain. That is not just reflex. It is your brain anticipating the result of your action and preparing your body to respond immediately. The delay between the actual event and your perception is bridged by the brain's predictions, making you appear almost faster than reality itself. Even social interactions rely heavily on predictive processing. When someone gestures while speaking, your brain anticipates their next word and the meaning behind it. Conversations flow smoothly because your mind is constantly filling in the tiny gaps created by milliseconds of delay. Without this ability, communication would feel awkward and disjointed, and social coordination would be much more difficult. The predictive power of the brain is also crucial for learning and adaptation. When you practice a skill, your brain is not just reacting to events, it is anticipating them. Over time, it refines its predictions, allowing actions to become faster, smoother, and more precise. This is why practice in sports, music, or even simple daily tasks leads to improvement. The brain's ability to foresee the immediate future enables mastery of complex behaviors. In a sense, living slightly in the past is a hidden superpower. The 80-millisecond delay is not a flaw. It gives your brain the opportunity to process, predict, and prepare. Without it, our reactions would be slower, our perception would feel jagged, and our ability to interact with the world would be limited. The brain's predictive mechanisms turn a small delay into an incredible advantage. So, while it may feel like you are experiencing life in real time, your mind is constantly blending the past with predictions of the future. This allows you to move gracefully, respond instantly, and navigate the world efficiently. Your brain is not just keeping up, it is staying ahead, making the world feel immediate and seamless even though technically you are always living just behind it. When we think about living slightly in the past, it's not just about perception. It also affects memory and consciousness. Every moment you experience is filtered through your brain's processing and predictive mechanisms. Your mind doesn't record events like a camera. Instead, it actively reconstructs what happened, blending the actual past with what it expects, and sometimes even what it wishes to see. Memories are not perfect snapshots. When you recall a past event, your brain pieces it together from fragments of information, filling in gaps with assumptions or predictions. This means that even your memories are slightly delayed and reconstructed. You might think you are remembering exactly what happened, but your mind has reshaped it, aligning it with your expectations and experiences. In a sense, your recollection of the past is already a product of predictive processing. Consciousness itself is deeply tied to this phenomenon. We feel like we experience life in the present moment, yet our awareness is always slightly behind reality. That 80-millisecond delay, combined with predictive mechanisms, allows us to act as if we are living in real time. Without this, the world would feel fragmented and confusing. What we call now is actually a combination of the actual past and the brain's forecast of what is about to happen. This reconstruction also affects decision-making. When you respond to a question or make a choice, your brain has already processed the information, compared it to previous experiences, and predicted potential outcomes. Even before you are consciously aware, your mind has prepared a response based on patterns it has learned. This is why sometimes you feel like you knew the answer before thinking it through. It's your brain operating ahead of conscious awareness. The predictive nature of memory and consciousness also explains why people sometimes misremember events. Your brain naturally smooths experiences, removes contradictions, and fills in missing details. That means your memory is as much about expectation as it is about fact. The past you remember is intertwined with your perception of the present and predictions for the future, creating a continuous and coherent narrative of your life. Even our sense of time is influenced by this processing. When something happens unexpectedly, we may feel it was slower or faster than it really was. That's because our brains are not just receiving input, they are actively anticipating it. The combination of delay and prediction affects how we experience durations, how we sequence events in our minds, and how we feel the flow of life itself. Your consciousness is, in a way, a storyteller. It doesn't merely record what happens, it interprets, predicts, and reconstructs. Every sensation, reaction, and thought you have is influenced by milliseconds of processing delay, merged seamlessly with your brain's predictions. This is why your experience of reality feels smooth, immediate, and continuous, even though it is technically a reconstruction of the slightly delayed past. Understanding this also changes the way we see human perception. Our brains have evolved to not just survive, but thrive in a fast-moving world. By predicting events and reconstructing memories, we gain the ability to anticipate danger, coordinate with others, and navigate complex environments. Our consciousness relies on the past, but it is also forward-looking, blending memory with foresight. Even in everyday life, this blend shapes who we are. Our preferences, habits, and judgments are based on predictions drawn from past experiences. When we plan, imagine, or dream, our minds are constantly bridging the gap between what has happened and what might happen. This interplay of memory, consciousness, and prediction is what makes human experience rich, adaptable, and profoundly creative. So, the next time you think about a memory, a decision, or a fleeting thought, remember that your mind is never experiencing reality as it truly is. It is always a few milliseconds behind, reconstructing the past, predicting the immediate future, and weaving it together into the seamless present you feel. Your consciousness is not just a reflection of reality, it is an incredible, ongoing creation that bridges the past, the present, and the future. Understanding that we live slightly in the past might sound unsettling at first. How can we truly experience the present if our brains are always behind by milliseconds? Yet, this tiny delay is not a flaw, it is a remarkable feature of the human mind. It is what allows us to navigate a fast, moving, unpredictable world with precision, awareness, and adaptability. Those 80 milliseconds of delay give your brain the time it needs to process enormous amounts of information. Light, sound, touch, and even complex patterns of movement are constantly being received and interpreted. Without this brief window, the world would feel chaotic, fragmented, and overwhelming. Our perception would be slow and disjointed, and even basic reactions could fail to protect us from danger. This delay is crucial for survival. Reflexes, for example, allow us to respond to threats before conscious thought can catch up. When a predator or a sudden hazard appears, our nervous system reacts instantly. The milliseconds of lag in our conscious awareness are compensated by automatic processes that keep us alive. In essence, living slightly in the past gives us the edge we need to respond faster than reality alone would allow. But this miracle extends far beyond survival. It enables us to perform incredible feats of coordination and skill. Athletes hitting fast-moving balls, dancers synchronizing with music, and musicians playing together in perfect rhythm are all relying on predictive processes built upon this delay. The brain's ability to anticipate and prepare for action turns a fraction of a second lag into extraordinary precision and timing. Even in ordinary life, this small delay is what makes reality feel smooth. Walking through a crowded street, catching an object, or even having a conversation requires continuous adjustments. Your brain processes each bit of sensory information and predicts the immediate future to ensure your actions appear seamless. Without this, life would be jittery and every movement would feel awkwardly out of sync. Living in the past also gives us the ability to reflect and plan. That tiny window of delay allows your mind to analyze what is happening, predict outcomes, and prepare responses. It is the basis for learning strategy and adaptation. When you practice a skill, your brain is not just reacting, it is constantly refining its predictions. The milliseconds of processing delay are what allow mastery over time. There is also a profound psychological effect. By blending past sensations with predictions, our minds create a coherent and continuous reality. We feel present in every moment, even though it is technically reconstructed. This makes life not only survivable, but also enjoyable. The world feels fluid, our actions feel purposeful, and our experiences feel immediate and engaging. This hidden superpower also highlights the incredible efficiency of human consciousness. Despite constantly being slightly behind, our brains allow us to live and perceive as if we are always in the now. That is the miracle of living in the past. The combination of delay and prediction transforms limitations into an advantage, giving humans extraordinary control over their environment. Even relationships, communication, and social interactions rely on this subtle timing. Reading facial expressions, interpreting speech, or responding to gestures, all of it depends on the brain anticipating the next moment while processing the last. The tiny milliseconds that separate perception from action are what make complex social life possible, allowing humans to connect, coordinate, and collaborate seamlessly. So, while it may seem strange that you are always slightly behind, it is exactly this delay that makes life manageable, beautiful, and precise. Every movement, every decision, every reaction depends on this delicate balance between perception and prediction. Those milliseconds are a secret superpower your brain uses every second, shaping your experience and making the impossible seem effortless. Next time you marvel at someone's skill, react instinctively to danger, or even simply catch a falling object, remember this: the 80 milliseconds you are behind reality are what make your actions smarter, faster, and more precise than reality itself. That tiny fraction of time is the hidden miracle that allows your mind to transform the past into a living, dynamic present. You are living slightly behind, but in doing so, your brain makes the present and even the future possible.